Welcome to Joe's Happy Hour, a show about markets and life hosted by Joe Fahmy. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be regarded as personalized investment advice or relied upon for any investment decisions. Joe Fahmy is an employee of Zor Capital, and he and his clients may maintain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast. All opinions expressed by Joe are solely his own and do not reflect the opinions of Zor Capital. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on this program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Tom Canfield.
Joe Fahmy. Do you not have music or anything? Is there like any music intro or anything to this thing? Or?
That high tech. There's no music.
All right.
It's great to see you, my friend.
Man, it's so good to see you. It's been a while.
I can't wait to see you in person and do this in person where we're sitting across the desk. But
yeah, hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. But for now, this is what we got to do, and I'm loving it already. How have you been?
I've been good. It's been a bit of a journey to get back to this point, but I'm good. Thank you.
So I would say 2-3 times a month still, since you've been off of social media and taking a break and all that, I get emails from people asking, because everyone loves you, asking how you've been, what's going on, and so forth. So I wanted to give you a platform and an opportunity to share as much or as little as you want, because I have to ask the obvious question. What happened to you?
Thanks for being so blunt. Well, first of all, I appreciate that people reach out and care and have asked you. I've also gotten emails, and some of the other friends that I've made on Twitter, Tony Credelli and whatnot, they all get feedback and questions about me. So I thought this would be a good platform just to shoot the shit with you, because we never know where our conversations are going to go, which is always a lot of fun. But secondly, just to answer any questions that might be out there. A couple years ago, I guess it was a little over 2.5 years ago, I sort of, in a fairly quick way, exited Twitter and whatnot. I had family issues, I guess is the best way to put it, that were deeply pressing for me to be fully present for. So my now ex-wife and I went through separation and divorce over the last 2 years. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I will say, for all the failure that trading has brought, and I mean, I've lost over collectively millions of dollars, some absolutely face-ripping, agonizing, check your soul type losses, and none of it compared to, walking through the sense of failure of my marriage not working out. And we got 4 kids, and it was hard on them. And we all needed time to breathe and take stock. And, when you fall down and fail like that, I would hope that you take a hard look at yourself. And for the past couple of years, that's what I've been doing. As I've been trying to climb myself out of the abyss, because it has been painful and lonely and shown me a lot of sides of myself that I'm not sure I necessarily ever really wanted to look at, but I forced myself to look at. Went through what felt like 500 hours of therapy. And I will say that, and that's hard for guys to do. I'll be the first to say it was difficult for me to step into, but it is the greatest thing I have ever done. And so, we're going to talk about a lot of things today, Joe. It all involves trading. Every last ounce of it involves trading, because your life is trading. Trading is your life. You cannot separate the two. But in any event, I would challenge men specifically. This is my one public service announcement. Therapy is good. Therapy is healthy. we do things in life that we don't understand, and we act in ways that we don't get sometimes. Think of yourself as a trader. You take trades and you're like, what in the fuck am I doing? Why did I do that? I knew not to do that. I could give you an example from today. I traded this morning. I did okay. I know I'm only supposed to trade. We'll go into more of that later. First couple hours of the day, man, I just couldn't help myself and decided to dip my toe in the last 20 minutes of the day because I thought I could squeeze out a little bit more, and ended up giving back every last penny that I made for the day. Why did I do that? We do things we don't want to do. What is it? What are those mechanisms? What are those triggers? What's all that shit that's going on inside our head and our heart and our bodies that make us do that kind of crazy shit? I think it's important for guys to like drop their egos down far enough. I think women more innately ask the questions. I don't think we do. I know some guys do, but I would challenge everybody. It's not weak. It's not weak to look at yourself and to ask why and to get a deeper understanding of yourself and trying to grow and evolve and improve. And, you know, when you fall flat on your face and get your ass kicked, it's a really good time to probably say, hey, maybe I need to make some changes. And so I think for the last couple of years, I've gone through that. They've been painful. They've been lonely. They're supposed to be lonely. But slowly but surely, my family, thankfully, is healing. We're all healing. And in a better place. I know some days it doesn't feel like that, but I think we are. So anyway.
I mean, first and foremost, I love you, brother. A lot of people out there
Thank
love
you.
you. And I applaud you, and I can't put into words how much you're, just how brave you are to share that story. I know we're both going to talk about a lot of stuff, and you're absolutely right. Guys have egos and don't want to be vulnerable and don't want to talk about not only the ups and downs of trading, but the ups and downs of life.
Yeah.
And so I applaud you for,
it's important because we all hurt. Yeah. We're all wounded. We all make mistakes. We all fall down. I love my wife, now ex-wife, and my kids dearly, and always will, and will continue to try and grow those relationships. But sometimes things just they fall apart, and it was a huge failure, and it hurt, and it still hurts. But one of the things that you find out who your friends are when you fall on your face. And there are some people that stuck next to me, you being one of them, that I will never forget. Mike Webster was an unbelievable friend through this also.
Amazing guy.
Both of you.
Amazing.
So was Tony Crudelli. I mean,
another great person.
Yeah. And I will always appreciate that. It's my job to fix my shit in life, but it's sure nice to have people come alongside you sometimes. And so if you got friends out there that are hurting, don't run away from them. Do not run away from them. Wrap your arms around them and love them. They'll figure their shit out. What they need is your love. So, and if any of you out there are hurting, let me know. I'll put my arms around you, because it's just, we can't do this on our own. None of this. Can't trade on our own, and it's a lonely fucking game.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And you can't do life on your own. So anyway, I hope that answers questions. If people have more questions, that's fine. I'm pretty much an open book. I don't want to get too much into the personal side of all the details. What happened, it was just a situation that ended up not working out. But after 30 years, it's a hard pill to swallow. And
well, if it means anything, as I said, you're loved by the entire community. And I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised to see you and hear this interview and hear this. I consider it more of you and I shooting the shit, just discussion. It's not really, I'm not interviewing you.
But I'm good. I mean, I'm happy. I'm probably in some respects happier than I've ever been. because I've been able to work through a lot of, I mean, dude, we could turn this into a whole psychology thing. I mean, I carried so much anger for so many years over so many things that go all the way back to when I was a kid, and that stuff like bleeds, and you carry it with you, and you don't realize how much it shapes you and forms you and causes you to make decisions and drives you in different ways. Sometimes it's a healthy drive. Sometimes it's not. It's like, but to be free of all that anger is like a 1,000,000-pound weight lifted off of me. I'm not sure I'd take the trade-off, but it really feels good to feel a lot more peaceful within myself.
One of the things that you're a master at is talking about psychology. A lot of the people in the trading community gravitated towards you because of how you really resonated with them, with your tweets, with some of the content you've done on your own that we've done together in the past. People were like, man, that hits home. Like the stuff he says, like sometimes is a great reminder, a reality check, hits me in the gut, but really the main word I can think of is resonates with people, especially on the psychology part. How was your psychology over the past couple of years? Was it like maybe the strength from trading helped you, or was it just some days good, some days bad, up and down?
I would say that it's a great question, first of all. And it's like, I think the biggest part that I think resonated with a lot of people is that I was willing to be honest about my own shit. I don't care if you think I'm a good trader or not, Joe. I don't care if the Twitter community thinks I'm a good trader. It doesn't really matter. It's, can I pay my bills or can't I pay my bills? And as long as I can pay my bills, I consider myself successful at the end of the day. And so it's like, I think that helped me because it was easier, and I felt like I was doing people more of a service by just being brutally honest about the struggles that all of us go through. I don't want people to look at guys that are, in theory, doing this full time and successful, looking at us like, fuck, why can't I do that? Why do I keep, well, guess we do the same fucking stuff all the time. And so it was that transparency and that ability to be honest with the community as well as with myself that I think helped me as I moved through this situation in my life. I knew how to be honest with myself. I think I had some blind spots. I think being married to a trader for 30 years is really fucking hard. And I'm not sure I had an appreciation or an understanding of just how difficult that is. Because we tend to be driven. We tend to be type A. We tend to be, there's certain traits that we traders kind of have that maybe makes us a little bit more difficult to be around during market hours and after market hours and whatnot, because I was prone to being volatile. And then, so you have to ask the question. So, it's like, all right, you download. Okay, what are the problems? This is no different than trading, What are the problems? What are my triggers? Where am I making my mistakes? Where am I moving away from my core thinking? What is it that's making me move away from my core thinking? What sort of dysfunctional small child little beast is crawling up inside me and taking over and hijacking my brain? I used to call it the village of idiots inside your brain that would constantly be talking and moving you around. Well, life's that way. We have a village of idiots that are in our heads talking to us, lying to us in a lot of ways, in a lot of different ways. So it's trading is life. It's just like this little microcosm. And the more honest you can get with yourself, the better off you're going to be. Instead of trying to convince yourself that you're something that you're not, or convince other people that you're something that you're not, just see yourself as you are, and embrace and accept that, and then go from there.
Yeah. One whenever we talk, I'm listening, and of course, a million things go through my mind. First and foremost is, I think too many people, it's a pet peeve of mine, too many people think that if somebody has a presence on social media, a certain number of followers, they've done TV, they're a famous blogger, whatever,
Right.
they're held at a standard where people, I'm not saying everyone, a lot of people put them on a pedestal, and they don't realize that, I don't know how else to say this directly besides, we are fucking human. We take losses, we have ups and downs, we have FOMO. When I said one time, I think I tweeted out like, I was looking at the stock, I almost bought it and it ran 20% and fuck me and the blah, and someone's like, oh my God, you do that too? And I'm like, what do you think? What do you think? You think I'd never take losses? You think I've never had a down day?
Right. You don't make those mistakes?
That's just a pet peeve of mine that too many people think that because of you fit A, B, and C criteria, you're this like immune to emotions and losses as a trader or as an investor. And they are so mistaken about that. And
100%.
the reminder there is we're all human and we all have to deal with stuff, myself included.
Part of that's our own fault, though, because our own ego gets in the way and presents an image of what we think we're.
They don't present an image. It's not my problem if someone's like, "Oh, you have a lot of followers and you've done financial television. You're awesome." That's not me. That's you, not me.
Right. But I mean, some of the guys out there project a super high level of success, which is totally unrealistic. Maybe the success is real, but fuck, the struggles that everyone has to go through on a daily basis to achieve what they get to achieve is the same. It's excruciating some days. Absolutely excruciating. And we still do. I mean, you said it better than, we're human. And we are filled with emotions that don't have anything to do with trading. How many days have you sat down at the desk and made decisions with other things weighing on your mind?
A lot.
All the time.
Yeah.
Because we have other lives. And so that's why it's like, how do you bleed this in? And I was consumed. Consumed isn't necessarily a fair word. I have been my most successful in life as a trader when I did not identify as a trader inside my own mind. When I identified as a dad and a husband and a hockey coach, and trading was just kind of a means to be able to do all that shit that I loved, I had tons of success beyond what I had when all of a sudden my identity as a trader started to creep in and take over as my kids got older. And on-point dadism wasn't necessarily as required. I started focusing more on, fuck, I'm a trader now. Wow, if I'm only doing this a little bit, how much could I make if I was really doing it? And what I didn't know at the time was the fact that I didn't think it was that big a deal is what was making me so successful at that time. Because the more I poured in, the harder I worked, the more I identified as a trader, the worse my performance got. So
what's the solution for that?
Have a balanced life. Find other shit that excites you. I mean, today I live out in Utah now, Park City, Utah. I'm a ski junkie. I love to ski. And I moved out here last August because I want to spend my life skiing, and that's actually more important to me. And getting involved in that community and meeting and making friends there. And so I trade the first hour and a half of the day. And then I leave. So I trade to fund my skiing. And I ski to keep me from trading.
So if you don't make money, the chairlifts are open?
They still stay open and are eager to see me. Yes. It's very true.
All right.
So, yeah.
No, that's important. The well-rounded, the reminder for people to be well-rounded. We've talked about this too with the example of a 3-day weekend.
Yes.
I guess while we're venting, and it's not really venting, it's another pet peeve of mine, are people who hate 3-day weekends.
Like,
The
really?
leaders who hate that, because I'm not imposing what you should enjoy, whether you like skiing or I go to concerts or whatever it is that we enjoy. I'm not imposing, and neither are you, on someone else. We're just trying to encourage people to be well-rounded so that you're so not obsessed and addicted and such a junkie with the markets that when you have a day off, because if you had a regular job, you love the 3-day weekends.
Right.
But because it's trading, it's like turn those machines back on and they're shooting heroin in their arms and come on, open it up, 24/7 trading. And I'm like, you have nothing else going on in your life besides trading, as a pet peeve of mine. And when people say you hate trading because you hate 3-day weekends, that must mean you hate trading. No, it means I love my life and love doing other things.
I love what trading can provide for me if I keep it in its proper balance, because I got so many other things that I want to do and experience. Like, mountains are about to close for the season, and then we get to hike, and we get to golf, and we get to bike and run and all kinds of other outdoor activities that I can't wait to do out here. So,
no, your connection with the outdoors has always been
it's a drug for me, and it's
giving you a great fuel.
It does give me a great fuel, and I'm super grateful for it. That I have this opportunity to be out here is nuts. And I, for the first year after my wife and I split, I didn't trade. I didn't even look at a screen. I had no idea. It just was, I had other priorities and other things I had to work through. But as the air started to clear and I started to get more settled in, trading became foundational for me because it's what I know and it's what I'm good at. So there's nothing wrong. Well, I don't think either one of us are saying trading's bad.
No, I'm not saying that.
It's phenomenal if you can keep it in its proper place. But if you can't, it's like this, reaper with, I used to talk about the reaper. I mean, it will suck you down a black hole. So, and I've been in that black hole. I know what that's like. So I'll always pound the table on having a balanced life and doing other shit and not having trading be the most important thing in your life. Be great at it. Be awesome at it. But don't be so obsessed that you don't have other interests. Because if you don't have other interests, it has the ability to completely consume you and destroy your life.
Yeah.
Be balanced. You're phenomenal. I love how much you go to shows, you go to concerts all the time.
Couple hockey games here and there. Nights are still so fucking good. It's unbelievable. My Blues might make the playoffs, though. I hope they get the 8th seed and knock down the President's Trophy winner. Because
would you like that? Would you like us to do that for you?
I would thoroughly enjoy. Our mutual friend Brent might not like you, or might not like that. But
that's okay.
It'll give us something to give him shit.
I will certainly enjoy seeing Brent crying in his beer.
That's if
that happens.
Earlier, when I said a million things going through my mind before I forget, the other one is self-talk. Because I love that phrase, the most important conversation you will ever have in your life is the one you have with yourself. And it's not in a crazy way, meaning when we wake up in the morning, it's not, you call it Village of Idiots, voices in our head. When we wake up in the morning, there's a dialogue we have. Throughout the day, we're walking around, there's a dialogue. When we go to bed at night, there's a dialogue. And I forget who said, whether it's good or bad, we're going to act on it. Can you talk about the importance of self-talk and how everyone has it? It's not in a crazy way, but the importance of it and, how to improve the self-talk, how to make it more of a power in your life than a hindrance.
Your self-talk has to be intentional. It has to be intentional and it has to be intentionally positive. You have to believe in yourself and you have to constantly communicate that to yourself. Otherwise, if you go on autopilot, your brain is going to tell you stuff about yourself that just isn't true. and you're going to migrate to whatever it is your brain is telling you. There's science behind that and everything. So we as human beings, not just traders, but we as human beings have to have enough grace and enough love for ourselves that we are constantly speaking belief into our lives. Constantly. And you have to be intentional about it, because if you're not intentional, your brain will migrate a completely different direction. Speaking positively to yourself doesn't come naturally. Your brain is this protection mechanism that's trying to save you from the lion and the bear that are in the woods that aren't actually there. So we have to constantly keep our foot on the gas of speaking love to ourselves, speaking grace. We have to forgive ourselves. My kids used to make fun of me when we would play golf, because I would be absolutely I would abuse myself verbally. I would be arrested if I was speaking that way to another human being, the way that I spoke to myself. And it started to carry over into my trading too, because you get these unrealistic expectations of what it is that you're supposed to do. And a lot of that stems from anger. Where your anger comes from, everybody's sources are different. But I am now incredibly intentional about how I talk to myself, how I love myself, how I encourage myself, how I let myself off the hook when I do dumb shit. You have to do it. Otherwise it festers and you're gonna grind yourself into the ground. And you're gonna
more of an intentional conversation and a conscious one than a subconscious one?
Well, the subconscious ones are never good, in my opinion. At least with me, my subconscious conversations, when I would just kind of take my hands off the steering wheel and just sort of let my mind talk to me, it was never a good conversation.
No, I agree 100% with that.
So there is an intentionality, and sometimes I have to literally get verbal. People think I'm nuts maybe because I'm all alone here and I'm speaking wonderful things to myself. Because it's important. Fuck, it's so important. Like in the last 2 years, I've learned how to genuinely love myself. Which hasn't been easy. Because I got 58 years of just really dumb shit I've pulled in life. But we're all human. And God created us beautifully and wonderfully. And He loves us. And who are we not to love ourselves? This is all we got anyway, bro. Like, that's all you got. That bald operation that's going on there is all you got. You better love it. You know what I mean?
I left my nice toupee at home today for
it. Yeah.
It was the blonde one, yeah. The Axl Rose.
So it's like
the 80s.
Who we are as people emanates from how we feel about ourselves. Wow, we're going some crazy fucking directions, aren't we? We're supposed to be talking about trading, I thought.
I have a whole bunch of points here, and I haven't even looked. And
we haven't touched it.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
I hope I'm
but
confident people love this stuff. And
who we are, how we treat other people, how we approach life, how we go about our business day in and day out is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. This is like the women that might be watching this are like, duh, and the men are like, what? Because it's like, I'm just learning this. The energy that we give out is a complete reflection of how we feel about ourselves.
So that reminds me, because while you're being honest and open, I'm going to do the same, where I notice with my own, I try to be a great human being in general, but with my own psyche after a great trading day, I'm definitely in a better mood and better to people. You alluded to this earlier. After a shitty trading day, sometimes you might take your anger out on someone or just not be in a good mood in general.
Yes.
So 2-part question is, one, how do you balance that? And related to that is that, how do you overcome that your trading P&L is not your self-worth?
I don't know if you figure that out. Let me know. I mean, it's I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but it's a phenomenal battle.
I'm asking for me. I'm not asking for everyone else.
It's a huge battle.
I guess let's tackle the first part. How do you handle being a little bit more even-keeled and accept that you're going to have, just like in any other job, you're going to have good days and bad days? How do you accept being more even-keeled so your emotions are more even-keeled and in control? I'm not saying having no emotions. You're allowed to. We're human. I'm just talking about how to not let those emotions overcome you and take control of you.
Move your body. That would be my first advice. Let's say you had a bad trading day and you can feel that anger. Before you go interact with a bunch of humans, wherever you are, go take a walk, go take a run. For me, skiing changes it in literally 10 seconds. I'm on a chairlift and I no longer care. I'm a skier. And then you do that for a couple of hours, and by the time you're done, you're breathing hard. You've completely changed the hormone
Physiology,
everything that's going on in your body. If you're in a climate where you can get outside and go move. You don't have to go climb mountains or do anything crazy, but just go take a 30-minute walk. Put your favorite music on. Put on a podcast. Don't be silent if your brain won't shut up.
Joe's Happy Hour is a great podcast.
Joe's Happy Hour is a phenomenal option. But seriously, you have to learn how to distract yourself from your own idiocy.
It's a great line.
And so
sometimes we don't have the self-awareness to know that we're being idiots. Or to know that when you're caught up in that emotional moment, you're not thinking with clarity. So it takes some self-awareness to understand that and then say, okay, I need to do something to overcome this.
I got to go take a walk. If you had a bad day, you ought to just start writing it down. Great thing to do. When I have a losing trading day, I'm taking a walk. Before you do anything, before you go talk to your wife, before you pick your kids up from school, before you interact with other human beings, in any way, shape, or form, if you've had a bad trading day and you can feel that ball's a little bit tight on the inside, go take a walk. And do something that distracts you from your own dysfunctional, dysregulated emotions. You got to get back into regulation. I don't want to get too much into but it's like when we trade bad, we get dysregulated. When we have a fight with our wives, we get dysregulated, or our girlfriends, we get dysregulated. When we have a fight with our kids, we get dysregulated. When somebody, challenges our egos, guys, we get dysregulated. It's like, be quick at identifying, I'm freaking dysregulated. I can feel it. And then have a plan in place of, okay, I need to do A, B, C, and D to go from dysregulation back into regulation. Now I can go have that conversation. It's just, it's loving to you and it's loving to the people around you to make sure that you manage that shit. I didn't for years and years and years. And my family suffered the burden of it. Because I was running on autopilot. And then I'd shrivel up in my room and go, why am I like this? Why am I doing this? Why am I being this way? It's like, take responsibility. Own your shit. Identify your shit. Understand what sets you off. And then when you feel yourself set off, bump, 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 here's what I'm going to go do.
Yeah, it's interesting that you talk really quick. It made me think of the, after a bad day or something, like maybe getting in a workout or moving your body, because let's say I don't have a great trading day and then I know I have a business meeting or a dinner or something I have to go to where you want to hide your head, you're not in the greatest mood, you don't really want to see people, and you have to. And I know one thing that's helped with me is sometimes I push myself, I'll go get a quick workout in, and just that 30-minute workout, I will show up at that dinner and be like King Kong, meaning not being arrogant, but just like more engaging, more funny,
Way
more everything, smiling more, just like that person that you want to be around in a room versus the person that sucks the energy out of the room.
Right.
It's always, I've noticed that in those times it's happened where the workout has really helped my own mental state when I have to do something that I don't want to do.
I don't know of any other way, other than I'm sure a handful of really effective psychedelics or hallucinogenic drugs that might also do the same thing, but we're not here to promote that sort of thing. Then some sort of physical exertion, be it workout, walking, running, whatever it is, to get the body moving, because movement releases the emotions. Otherwise, they stay trapped in your body.
It's a great point. It's a great point.
And they come out fucking ugly and sideways and weird in situations that you don't want to have. Like you're at a meeting later that night and you haven't done anything to like dispel those feelings that you have, and they're just like festering and they're like poking their head out, and like all of a sudden
it doesn't even have to be an important meeting. It could be just doing the podcast in the afternoon or in the evening. I got it scheduled, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I got 2 hours beforehand. I'll go get a workout. I've noticed my energy even on the podcasts are better versus when I don't. So
your energy is always exploding off the page, Joe.
I don't know about that. I try to surround myself. My biggest heroes in life are people who are naturally unbelievably happy, and no matter what happens, like I don't care. My 12-year-old nephew is one of my heroes. I talk about that. Kid is always happy no matter what happens. And
that's huge.
You can learn a lot. I don't care if the person's 80, if the person's 12, it doesn't matter. I don't have any ego. Some of my great friends that I surround myself with, like 90, we're all human. You're allowed to be in a bad mood and have a bad day, but 90% of the time it's just upbeat. No matter what happens, I'm blessed. It's a great day, and just smile on their face and great energy. And I think by trying to surround myself with those people, it's helped me to try to do the same for others.
Well, and it's worked because you're one of those people for me.
Thank you.
So you have been a dear friend that has lifted me out of some dark holes sometimes just by, you're not trying to solve my problems. You're just there as a friend, but you bring a light spirit. You're still cracking your jokes and keeping it.
My dad jokes.
Your dad jokes, which are phenomenal. Yeah. Sometimes. But anyway, I mean, I couldn't agree with you. I mean, yeah, it's all the shit that you read in these books. Like,
but it's actually implementing them. It's
doing it.
You know, you live on this earth 30, 40, 50, 60 years. At some point, you should need to know, like diet and exercise, you know, which whenever someone loses weight, how'd you do it? Yeah, I know there's weight loss drugs and, surgeries and stuff, but let's just put that aside. For years, it's the dumbest question ever because it's diet and exercise. Eat an apple and go for a walk. It's not that complicated. So sometimes it's just, you need to hear that or be reminded from somebody, but it's not really like some rocket science.
Right. No.
Sorry for the tangent. Going back to the second part of that question, because I know there's that
phrase. There were 2 parts?
I don't know. There's like 8 parts to this one question. That phrase, your net worth is not your self-worth, or your trading day is not your self-worth. I know some people who are beyond loaded that are miserable. I know some people who are struggling, practically broke, and are the happiest people ever. So obviously money is not the equation there. But how do you get to the point where a lot of traders listening, and I struggle with this myself included, a lot of the traders listening were after a bad day, like not feeling good about themselves or not being where they want to be. They've been trading 5 or 10 years and they really haven't reached, like, how do you get that to overcome that doesn't affect your psyche and self-worth and confidence?
Well, I think one of the first premises you have to really embrace as a new trader, somebody who's struggling or whatever, because I think trading is super fucking hard. I don't know how else to put it. It is super, super duper hard. Excruciating. emotional. There's so much that goes into it. And I think we who are like, have had success and whatever, it appears to others like it's, and this goes back a little bit to what we were talking about earlier, but I think everyone who steps into trading expects to be able to do it, right? And then when they can't, they're absolutely brutal on themselves. And you like want to go, look at the statistics. Most people who do this fail. It's not because you're a fucking moron. It's because what you're trying to do is really, really hard. I always would say, I honor every single person that tries to do this. Because it's hard. It's a hard life. Yes. Can you make a lot of money? Yes. Can you lose a lot of money? Hell yes. Can you be a pain in the ass to be around for a long time? Yes. Can you have all kinds of anguish and pain and whatever through the process? Yes. Do you have peaks and valleys even if you're successful? Yes. It's a real difficult job. So at least give yourself the respect of knowing that that's what you're trying to take on, number one. Number two, like, I don't know how to, I mean, it's really unrealistic to ask people, but it's like you have to, how do you keep it in its proper place, Joe? Like, I look at what I had to do to start and get it figured out and whatever, and it was a lot of hours of grind. But, you know, how do I say it? Make sure that you keep first things first, and trading should never be the first thing. Make sure the people in your life are more important than trading. Make sure your outside activities are more important than trading. Make sure your physical, mental, and emotional health are more important than your trading. Start there. For lack of a better phrase, learn from me. I lost my family. As brutal as that sounds. And a lot of it was because I let trading and what trading did to me be the driver. And it's not worth it. It's not worth
Again, I can't say this enough how much I appreciate you being open and honest and vulnerable and sharing. And I think that's why you always resonated with people because, like you said earlier, you're just brutally honest.
There's a positive side to the story, you know, and maybe I haven't gotten to all the positive side of the story, but I deeply believe that it's there. And we all make mistakes and we all fail and we all fall down and we got to get up and we got to learn and then we got to move forward. But as one who is easily driven and can get really obsessed, for lack of a better word, in whatever it is that he's doing, I've had to realize that I have to manage a healthy balance. You know, currently I have a ski addiction. Which, I mean, if I've got to have an addiction, I figure that's about as healthy as it can get.
If you're going to have an addiction to powder, skiing is better than the other option.
That's so much better. It's a much better powder than some of the others that you can find yourself involved with. But but part of it is knowing yourself and figuring yourself out and knowing what you need to do to protect yourself from yourself so that you can live a happy life. Like now that I have found a life without anger. And now that I have found a life that is starting to feel like it has more balance, and I have room in my spirit. I don't know if that phrase makes sense, but it makes sense.
Of course it does. Yeah, it makes sense.
I don't ever want to go back to where I was. So as much as I really enjoy, because I'm really enjoying trading right now. I got so burned out. I was super burned out. I didn't think I was ever going to come back to trading. But when I did, I came back slowly and did it bit by bit. And I have found this sweet spot of just trading for a little while during the day to make whatever it is that I make and to get the hell out of there. And it motivates me. Makes me feel good, but it doesn't own me. And it's not who I am. I'm a father and I'm a friend and I want to be a hell of an ex-husband and a skier and an outdoorsman. And, That's what I want to be known for. I don't ever want to be remembered for the fact that I made or lost a lot of money in the stock market. I could give a shit. I just don't want to be known that way.
Yeah. Maybe you could help me out with something that relates to the current market. And even if people listen to this years from now, when the market's going through a correction, we've talked about this before, and sort of my general philosophy is the market's healthy a couple times a year, 2 to 3 times, where it gives you those really nice, as Mike Webster calls them, power trends, uptrends, whatever you want to call them. You got to make 80% of your money during those couple of times the market's healthy.
At least.
If not more, correct. And then I think a lot of people have trouble accepting corrections, pullbacks, bear markets, downtrends, whatever you want to call them. And a lot of people are junkies, and they don't understand that you do need this for traders. I'm not talking about for long-term investors, that you do need some time off, or there aren't going to be opportunities. Like people are asking me now, why don't you have stocks? Why don't you have stocks? And I'm saying, well, we're in a correction and there's nothing. I'm talking about probabilities. You've always used that phrase, stack the deck in your favor.
Right.
Make sure the market's healthy and then gravitate towards strong fundamentals and then strong technicals, and just the last part's the magic, trade them as best as you can. But the whole point is, when all of that's not lined up, nothing is in the favor for my style. And can you help the others, or maybe help me to explain to the others that there's not always going to be an opportunity, and to learn to have the discipline?
Every strategy has windows where it is super conducive to be really active and involved. And it's also really good to do. And there are windows and times when doing absolutely nothing is the very, very best thing that you can do. And that's not just you and I have similar trading styles within kind of the general can slim sort of model, where you're trading strong stocks that are in strong uptrends in a healthy market. Boom, boom, boom. If you don't have those, you do nothing. And doing nothing is the most powerful, greatest trade you can make. It's the hardest trade to make because we love making money. But when the environment isn't aligned, trying to make money is probably the dumbest thing you can do. It is the worst trade you can make. You make, 80 was modest. My deal was, I'd have 3 or 4 windows a year where I'd make 110 to 120% of my earnings for the year. And I would spend the whole rest of the time trying not to trade, knowing I shouldn't trade, but.
Oh, so if you're losing during those times, then you're making 120 and losing 40% of your money in the other times and netting it out. Yeah, I know. Is that what you're trying to say, kind of?
Yeah.
You don't make 80% of your money during those healthy times. You make all of your money, and then
I make all of my money during the rest of the time is slipping. I actually, there is rarely a year where I can look back and go, oh gosh, during that corrective phase or whatever, I actually booked some nice profits. Not a one. 27 years worth. Nope.
No, same here.
Never. It's just, and what people don't understand is they think you're always supposed to be active and you're always supposed to be trading. Okay. If you're a day trader that has strategies for every single different kind of environment, fine.
Very, very few can successfully.
And good luck to you. And if you're still alive at 60 and have a family, I'd be super impressed. There's always, like I am now a day trader, but I trade a very specific environment and whatever. And, I nibble during periods that are like, this is a crazy period right now. You don't know where the market's going to go and whatever. I actually do my very best during just boring, stupid, slow grind, consolidating days in a mild uptrend, which is what the market is 70 to 75% of the time over the long haul, I would say. Just slow grind. But it's okay not to trade. It's actually the sign of a really smart, thoughtful trader who is trying to maximize when he recognizes an environment where the deck is absolutely not stacked in his favor. I mean, cancel him. We're breakout traders. We're trading stocks that are in an uptrend. Show me one. We're trading stocks in uptrends. Show me one. I'm sure there's a few out there, but by and large, who's leading? Nobody. Is the market in an uptrend? No. Are any of the main stocks that control the market in an uptrend? No. You don't have a single ounce of wind at your sails. So if you want to trade long and buy stocks that are going to be breaking out and whatever, you're going against the entire river right now. Do you know how exhausting it is to try and paddle upriver? I'd rather just sit on the sidelines, drink a beer, get some sun, and wait for the river to start flowing down my direction again. It's just...
I think if roughly 250 trading days in the year, I think if somebody told me you could only trade 80 to 100 of them max.
Right.
And choose your days wisely, I think that would be a very good...
That'd be a really good exercise.
It'd be a heck of an exercise. The problem is people are like, yeah, but I got to make money. And I'm like, well, yes, it's not a regular job where you're going to get a paycheck on the 15th and 30th of the month and all, but you might make a shitload more in a very short period. Like if you have a regular job that pays whatever, X amount a month, what if you make 10X of that in 1 month and then you're not making any for a couple of months, something like that. But that's where the balance...
That irregularity does dysregulate a lot of people, though. Like they want that daily dopamine,
And they want the certainty. It's nice to have a certainty of a paycheck every 2
And I'm guilty of that. I need a lot of winners. I've always known that I trade such a way so that I don't, I know that some trend-oriented traders, it's like, yeah, only 1 out of 3 trades works, but the one that works really well. And it's like, I've never had the emotional makeup to handle that. Yeah. And I've always known that. So do I truncate some of my gains because I'm quick to take profits? Yeah, I do. But I'm always taking profits. I don't let things come back. I just don't. Even as a day trader, I don't. It's just the nature of the way that, but I've accepted that about myself. And it's like, you just sort of take what's there. I don't try and maximize trades. I don't care. You say, if I get the first 10 to 12% of a move and the stock goes 50%, I don't care. God bless those people that stayed in. Because 3 out of 4 of those don't. So I'd rather just take 10% out of all 4 and stay positive and stay happy. But that's just me. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who go, that's not the right way to trade. Okay.
There is no right or wrong way
to trade.
That's the thing. There is no black and white in the market. There's a lot of gray. There's very few the answers to the questions. How many positions? Do you hold over earnings? Your position size? Do you trade this time of the day? Do you trade it by at the morning on the close? Like, there is no right or wrong answer, and nobody has those. Like, stop thinking that people actually have the right or wrong answers. That's why I always encourage people, you know what? It's not a cop-out. The honest answer is it depends.
It just depends. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know is my favorite phrase.
I don't know. A lot of people have too big of an ego to admit, I don't know.
I don't know is what helps me make money. Because if I get an ego, then I get attached to a certain side of a trade and I bury myself into it. So, I'm so simple now because I'm trying to manage myself. And and that's when you as a trader realize that it's less about you understanding the market, more about you understanding yourself and how to manage yourself and how you can interact effectively with the market in a safe and conducive way, the better off you're going to be. I literally look at 4 stocks. And I look at the NASDAQ and the S&P futures, and I look at Tesla, NVIDIA, Apple, mainly those 3, Palantir sometimes. Every once in a while, there's, and then I got a list of about 5 other stocks that if all of a sudden they're getting, they're doing 50 to 100 million in volume that day and somebody's got some news buzz on them, maybe I'll trade that. Otherwise, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't. I don't care what the news is, nothing. I just look at myself. There's support, resistance is resistance, exhaustion's exhaustion. Do your best.
Yeah. You remind me a little bit of Stanley Druckenmiller did, the legendary hedge fund manager. He did an interview recently where he said, and I'm paraphrasing him, he kind of waits for his fat pitch. And
everyone is comparing me to Stanley Druckenmiller. That's really it.
No, it's something you said reminded me. You're both billionaires. It's all good. Druckenmiller has his fat pitch. Now, fat pitch means different things to different people because he's global macro. So he's not just dealing with equities. He's dealing with bonds and currencies and commodities, futures, blah, blah, blah. So everyone has a different version of their fat pitch. But for him, he's like, I just sort of tread water. When the fat pitch comes, he steps on the gas. But he also said in the interview that he's like, I'm a junkie, though. And he's like, I can't sit out. So, and I'm listening to this and I'm like, one of us. Like, this is one of the greatest ever admitting he's a junkie. And it resonates with me because all of us are junkies. But what he does that's amazing is he's like, I know it's not that fat pitch. So instead of 100 shares, I trade 10. I'm using redeemers. Or instead of buying 10 contracts, I buy one to kind of feed that and also keep a little bit in touch with the markets.
It's that feel. I trade every single day because I just want to feel it. Even on days where I'm like, I don't get what's going on here. But those are 100 share days versus 800 share, 1,000 or 1,500 share days. Right. When I feel it.
But to finish the thought is what he's doing involves two very, 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 very hard things, which is one, recognizing when it is that fat pitch for whatever your strategy is, global macro, value, growth, whatever it is. And two, to have the discipline to control yourself where the chocolate cake and the pizza's on the table and you're like, I really shouldn't be eating or trading during this time.
Right. And what I would say is that feel of understanding whether you've got your fat pitch or not doesn't show up in 6 months or a year or maybe even 2 or 3 years. I think a lot of that comes from just years of experience of seeing the market, seeing all its different personalities, seeing all of its different moods. I mean, day patterns, month patterns, over and over again, stock patterns. Sometimes you can just see the way that the lights are flicking on a screen and you can feel what's going on because you've been there so many times before.
So you just say the experience can help lead to those
Hell yes. In my opinion, 100%.
Instincts that are tough to teach.
Yes.
Okay. That's a great point. I feel like I just looked at the time. So I had a bunch of topics here. We didn't get to any of them. So who cares?
Good. More to talk about next time.
That's a sign of a good interview because one of them I had 12 things listed in one of the podcasts I did. And I got to number 12 and I looked at the time and we were 14 minutes into it. And I said, oh shit, now I have to really pull this out of my you-know-what to keep it going.
I love that you're doing this. This is fucking awesome. Seriously, you're so good at it, and you love talking to people, and it's right up your alley. Are you having fun doing it?
I'm having a blast. I'm blessed to know some great people, not just traders and people in the financial world, but sports, music, whatever. And I'm blessed, and I have great conversations over coffee at the dinner table, over drinks with some people, and I'm like, all right, let's do a podcast. And shout out to my producer, Tyus, is awesome.
Tyus, way to go, bud.
He's got an amazing studio.
You're good at pulling it out of us.
So I'm enjoying it, and I think it's a good sign that I literally have intro and then topic number 1, and I haven't got to the rest. So I think it's a good sign that
fuck yeah, we did our job then.
We've had it flow. I definitely want to do more than one of these in person and continue the dialogue because I feel like we could probably talk for another 10 hours.
We can. There's so much more to talk about. There's always shit to talk about, and I don't see myself probably getting back on Twitter and whatnot, but I'd like to. I mean, listen, I miss the trading community, and I need the trading community, and so I want to be thoughtful about how I do it, and take my time. But I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk. And fuck, I love talking to you all the time. You know that.
Well, like I said from the beginning, first and foremost, I love you like a brother. You are very loved by many hundreds, thousands, probably millions of the people out there in the financial community and FinTwit, as we call it. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are loving to see your face and hear what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't thank you enough for your honesty, your humility, your love, your just being raw and real about sharing. And I thank you for being vulnerable to share a little bit of your story.
I feel like it's important. I can't help anybody by trying to hide. And I appreciate the fact that people followed me, and it was an honor that people thought that I had something to say. And as I come back, if my experience and some of the dumb shit that I've done in my life and the lessons that I've learned, I can pass on and hopefully help somebody else, then it's totally worth it to me.
Yeah. I'll leave you with, we're going to have many more conversations, but I wanted to give you this platform, to at least express what's been going on. I'll leave you with the closing thoughts, whether it's, so you want to say, or lessons or advice, or you always have amazing words of wisdom.
Well, love is what makes all of this possible. I know that's kind of a juicy, fruity saying, but it's like, there is nothing more important than your family and your friends and your faith. Keep those things first. Whatever you do, keep those things first. It's so easy, especially for guys, to get caught up in other shit and to climb ladders and look at the dollar signs and chase our egos into something that we think is there. It's not there. There's nothing there. There's absolutely fucking nothing there other than your family, your friends, and your faith, and your health, and all those things that don't cost a penny. Pour your life into that. Let trading be an auxiliary that feeds all the things that you love in life. That would be my parting words for today.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And this will be one of many more conversations we will have. I appreciate your
I love you dearly, Joe.
I love you more, brother. Thank you for being a great friend, and we'll do this again soon.
You got it. Can't wait.
All right.